Recorded live from the unfinished loft project of Des's home just outside Brighton in Sussex, welcome to the £200,000 to £100,000 Challenge podcast. This is your no thrills, no BS, and absolutely no get rich quick or passive income promises hub. Hosted by your man, Des Hamilton.
Hello everyone, welcome back. What we've been up to this week, I hope you've all had fun, I hope you've all enjoyed the darkness and the rain. Well, I've had a hell of a week. It's all gone a bit official. I mentioned last week that things were in the pipeline and I couldn't talk about anything too much, but now I can talk about it. I am now officially signed by a talent agency and I've got representation. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing now? I started a year ago with my mission to turn £200 into £100,000 in 2 years, and my mission to build a following so I could bring income streams in that would solidify this new path that I was on and diversify my income streams and make sure that I've got security. So if I just go for Amazon and that falls down, I've got more income streams along the way. Well, one of the things that I didn't actually account for was the fact that TikTok itself was going to make me money. I thought building a community would bring online money maker newbies along with me, which is what I wanted to do. I thought that it would document my journey, which is what I wanted to do. But I didn't know that brand deals, that sponsorship deals, that general TikTok creation was an income stream on its own. And I didn't know that I would have this calling, that I love it, that I love talking into this little microphone, this little camera. And it's actually going to be a path that takes me out of my structured, traditional, money-making job and leads me through that door into a world of unstructured financial freedom. Now, what this agency do and what I really like about them is that they help me on various fronts. It's headed up by Charlie Lawrence. Charlie's got a history in building brands, in building companies, building businesses, 6, 7, 8 figures. On top of that, you look at his TikTok channel and he's got over 300,000 followers himself. This is a safe pair of hands for me. It's a no-brainer. So on speaking to Charlie, he's going to help me fourfold. Number one, he's going to build my following. I mean, who better to help me build my following than a guy that's got over 3 times the amount of followers as me? Yeah. He's going to help me build my partnerships. Now, one of the consequences of me being as busy as I am, I haven't got the ability to go out and reach out to brands and then keep the engagement levels up at a rate that would leverage a relationship. I know through my day job that if you want to have good engagement, you do need to invest the time, and I haven't got that. So that's another thing that the agency can do. Number 3, they're going to build my business. And when you strip back everything, it's still about income streams. So we're going to start talking about ways to improve my Amazon business, talk about ways to improve the things that I offer out. The mentoring is something I'm so proud of. And if we could build that, that would be amazing. Build this podcast. Maybe get out of my kitchen and get into a podcast studio. What do you think? And then also, number 4, build the best version of me. And if you listened last week, and if you've been listening to me for the last couple of weeks, you'll notice that I am struggling a little bit with the transition. This notion of me being this entrepreneur at 40 odd and leaving the structured career life. It's a struggle, and I do need help with it. And what Charlie offers is help with it. So it's a 4-fold win, 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 win as far as I'm concerned. And I'm really excited to see where this can go, because I don't know business. I don't know how to be an entrepreneur. And here's the secret. An awful lot of people don't. But if I can have some support from people that have already trod this path, go for it. Absolute no-brainer, and I'm buzzing. Our little community here, we're going to get a whole lot bigger and a whole lot bolder, and I can't wait. Because one of the things that I do need to impress, and one of the things that I have impressed, but maybe not as much as I should have done, is that Amazon is a great, great money-making, scalable business. It really is, if you go into it with the right mindset and the tendency to actually put action in place. However, if you really, really want to kick on, you do need more. Building your socials is such an obvious step. It's free, but I also understand it's not for everybody. So I don't push it too much, but I do want to acknowledge that there is a world outside of Amazon where you can make money with very little money. But in order to do any of it, affiliate marketing, Kindle Direct Publishing, Etsy stuff, print on demand, e-commerce products, digital services. You need a following. You do. You need a community. I'm so lucky that you guys have all taken this leap of faith with me. But if you want to go down this path, you're going to need to forge your own following. Because what we're going to do eventually with this podcast is not just talk about Amazon. We want to talk about all sorts of digital e-commerce income streams, because Amazon is just one. And if you want to do well, you're going to need a few. So today is an inkling into that world. We're going to step out of our Amazon comfort zone and we're going to dip our toes into the big wide world of diverse e-commerce streams. I mean, Amazon has been good to us and it will be good to us. But I do have this itch to see what else is out there. Who else can I speak to that can open a door to something where I go, you know what, that's a bit of me. So what we're going to do on today's episode is we're going to talk about Amazon in a different light. We're not going to talk to an Amazon seller in this episode. We're going to talk to someone who is integral in the Amazon selling business. This is the mystical world of Amazon account health and those dreaded Amazon account suspensions. It's a silent partner on our Amazon journey, isn't it? It's overlooked because it's boring, but my God, is it crucial. Today's episode is going to be fantastic for that because we've got the brilliant Anne Williams coming in from Get Unsuspended. Now, Anne isn't your typical Amazon seller. She's the person that you would want in your corner when the Amazon suspension axe is hanging, because she's the one that gets you back in the game. And she's an unsung hero. So we've had this parade of amazing Amazon sellers all sharing their wisdom with us so far. But Anne's coming in from a different angle. So she spills the secrets on dodging those suspension curveballs and keeping that account health in the green. So that's my update this week. This is my guest this week. Let's not waste our time about it. Get your pen and paper ready because Anne comes out with some absolute pearlers in this. Let's get into it. I'll see you on the other side. Hi, Anne. How are you?
Hi, I'm absolutely great. Thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast. I'm really, really happy to be here.
Can you tell us all about your background? What led you into we call it an unconventional business in terms of digital e-commerce?
Absolutely. So basically, Get Unsuspended was founded in 2017. And the reason it was founded was because we realised there were a lot of people who were being suspended for not because they'd done something particularly wrong, but because they didn't understand the process. Now, by that, I mean that a lot of people were contacting Amazon and saying, right, you've suspended me, but I don't understand why. So can you explain the process? Can you explain how long this is going to take? Can you explain how much money I'm going to lose? And by asking all of these questions, people were being suspended because Amazon will only have a finite amount of time that they will actually respond to you.
Right.
Each time you send a question like that, they kind of look at it as a correspondence from you. So it's all really quite difficult. So right at the beginning, we found that because people were doing this, they were becoming suspended and they didn't know how to deal with Amazon. They didn't know how to communicate with them appropriately, what they actually needed and how you should actually go about talking to Amazon. So that's why we set this up. And since then, we've had an amazing amount of success stories with regards to helping people getting their accounts back. And it's not always because of money. And that sounds really strange, but it's not always because of money. We give lots of free advice. We will help a lot of people. And right at the beginning, if people get an email from Amazon saying, you know, you've been suspended or you're at risk or whatever, we always say, come and talk to us. We'll explain the situation to you.
Yes.
So that will help people right at the beginning, hopefully understand what they've got to do and they won't get suspended for lots of other things.
Got you. I've got to say, before you and I spoke, I saw your TikToks and saw your website. And I want to emphasize that you're exactly right. You give away so much information for free on your TikTok and you give away so many pointers. I think it's really important that anyone that doesn't know your service, that is a fantastic place to start.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do try to do a lot of TikToks that give a lot of information because I think that when I post on Facebook a lot as well, but mainly I do it on other people's Facebook pages. And the reason I do that is to give lots of information. And it's not so much that I'm promoting Get Unsuspended, although I do occasionally if the person who runs the page allows me to.
Right.
But it's more about helping people. So on a Facebook, you get a lot of people saying, how does this work? Especially people who have just started selling on Amazon,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love going on there and going, right, well, have you done this, that, and the other? Have you tried this? And they go, oh, no. And it's like, we'll give it a go. And if not, then contact me again and we'll try again.
I bet that's so rewarding, isn't it?
Very, very rewarding. It's one of the biggest things about my job that I love is actually helping people. So, yeah, I find it very rewarding.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. So tell us a bit about the team.
So the team is a small team. We're quite small, but we are all very knowledgeable. We do have staff on at the weekends, so we are available 24/7.
Yeah.
But obviously, over the weekends and at midnight, it might be skeleton staff. But there are people around. So, yeah, they're all very knowledgeable. They're all very helpful. And I'm always around anyway. So, always happy to help wherever possible.
People might not know this, actually, but I got my account suspended on Boxing Day.
Oh,
Just gone. Exactly, yeah. So this is the thing, isn't it? With Amazon working worldwide and having no regard for religious or cultural holidays of any kind, it doesn't really matter at what time people get suspended, do they? I'm sure that you've had calls at all sorts of the day.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Incredible. But yeah, I don't really talk about it because it was just a silly admin thing. I was back again by the 28th. Wasn't worth making a post about it type thing, I'm sure I'll get suspended properly one day, and I can tell people then.
Oh, please come to us. We'll give you some help. Don't worry.
Thanks. So, in your experience, what are you finding the most common reasons that Amazon sellers get suspended for?
Well, initially, when someone first starts selling on Amazon, the first thing that they can get suspended for is verification process. They've not sold anything on Amazon, and basically the information they've given Amazon might be slightly incorrect from what they've actually put in Amazon. So, for instance, we've had situations of people inputting their postcodes incorrectly. They've not got the right utility bill. So those sorts of things, it's really quite interesting. So, for instance, when you send a utility bill, it's got to be something that has been sent in the post. It's got to be a proper utility bill or council tax or something like that, something legal. And it's got to have, when you send the photograph of it, it's got to be up the right way. It's got to have your name and address on it, as well as their name and address on it, as in the company that you're sending it from. It's all got to be able to be seen. And you've got to show the four corners of the document. Now, how random is that? But you've got to show all four corners of the document. You can't just take a picture of, the top left-hand corner saying, well, this is the bill. You've got to take a picture of the whole sheet and you've got to see all four corners.
Is that in a policy, or is that just something that you've learned from experience?
That's something we've learned from experience.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, they do say make it clear and concise on the policies, and, you must be able to read all of this information. But yeah, it's when, I don't know if you've ever read a policy from Amazon. I'm sure you have. You've read loads of them.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. But they are like lawyer speak. Really, you have to kind of delve into what is it they actually want.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a lot of knowledge with regard to reading the policies and actually picking out what it is that they're actually asking us for. So sorry, I've digressed slightly. So just going back to so it's verification right at the beginning. Excuse me. What else? Contact with Amazon. That's another one. As I said earlier, asking all of those questions, that will get you suspended. My kind of rule of thumb is, if you get an email from Amazon, you send one response, and that response must be something along the lines of a plan of action, or it must be information that they've particularly asked for, or it could be a document like a utility bill or an invoice that you need to send to them. So my advice is, you get one email from Amazon, you send one email back. That will keep your account alive, and that will keep your account that will keep your account chatting to Amazon. So they will not suspend you or stop talking to you if you do. They send one, you send one. Whereas if you get one email from Amazon and you send 5 responses, there's a possibility they will stop talking to you.
Right. Okay. Sounds very formal and legalised, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it will be, because they're running a business, and they're running a very strict business to the point of they've got to make it legal. Otherwise, they'd be sued all over the shop. So
yeah, that's true. So with those sorts of things in mind, what sort of things would a seller have to do to gain a greater awareness of this stuff?
My thoughts around this whole process is read the email that Amazon sends you, because any email that Amazon actually sends you has information in there. So even if it's one that you think, oh yeah, I really don't need to know that, that's absolutely fine. That's something that's for the bigger sellers, or that's for, people who are doing FBM, or that's for, whoever, Joe Blogs. Always read it, because there may be something in there that you could actually go, actually, going forward, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing FBM, or I'm going to start doing FBA. So I'm going to need to know that in the future. And Amazon will always send you policies, changes, and everything like that in email form. So the biggest thing you can do to keep yourself aware of what's going on in the Amazon world is to read the emails. Look at on your Seller Central forum as well. Have a look on there, because that's always full of information. And on your dashboard, when you first log into Seller Central, there will always be something at the bottom giving you lots of information about policies and procedures that are changing. Now, obviously, if you don't understand something and you just think, I'm really stuck with this is obviously going to have a detrimental effect to my account, but I don't understand it. Facebook is great. You can always put notification on Facebook and someone will answer you. You can email us at help@getunsuspended.com. We will give you the answer. So there's always somewhere you can go to get some information.
Yeah, great, Shell. What I'll do is I'll put that email address in the show notes as well. I've been corporate myself for the last 13 years, and I know, and public sector as well, so I know that every letter that goes out, every letter, every email, anything that's public facing has gone through at least 4 levels of sign-off, legal, comms team, everything like that. So I completely agree. Anything that Amazon sends you, it would have gone through various stages, so it must be of value.
Yes.
No, nice. So with that in mind then, what sort of services do you offer as well? Because I know you guys, you're linked in with Buybot Pro as well, aren't you?
We are linked to Buybot Pro, but we are also standalone. Okay. So our services we have, if you have the Buybot Pro package, you can also add on the suspension safeguard, which means for a small monthly fee, you will be able to access us should you need us. So if you've got any queries about your account, or if you get at risk emails or deactivations, then you can contact us and we'll give you some basic information and help you out. But we really are standalone, basically. You don't have to have Buybot Pro to have our help. So we've got Suspension Protect, which is a new product that we've produced. And basically it's for a small monthly fee, and it allows you peace of mind to know that should you become at risk, deactivated or suspended, you can contact us and we'll give you all the help we can, and we'll hold your hand through the whole process. But it also adds another level, which you don't get with Suspension Safeguard, which is suspension prevention. And that is a 6-monthly review of your account health. So basically, you send us a screenshot of your Seller Central dashboard, and we'll have a look at your health and we'll tell you and guide you through how to increase your health. So that's always a good way of making sure that your account is healthy, and how to either keep it healthy or to get it healthier than it was. To know that we're in the background, we will help you and we will do everything in our power to get your account back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Then we have 2 other packages. So our Suspension Assist, which is basically if you've been suspended or deactivated, we will send you our template packs. We'll hold your hand. We'll talk you through it. We'll read your pack for you before you send it off to Amazon. And then we have Suspension Pro, which is our gold star service. And basically, we write everything for you. So Amazon sends you an email. We give you the reply. We write all your plan of actions. Obviously, we don't have access to your Seller Central account because we can't. But other than that, we send you all the documentation. We fill it all out for you. And then you just upload that straight to Amazon.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really gold star service.
Yeah. Talk us through a couple of success stories that you've had off the back of this.
We have lots of success stories, to be honest.
Oh, how lovely.
Well, it is really lovely because we have people who come to us and they say, oh, this has happened. How do I deal with this particular issue? And we give them free advice. And the next email you get is, that's great, I've got my account back. The free advice we give is not limited to one email necessarily. It's limited to what we can do to help you get your account back. We've also had lots of clients, or not lots of clients, but we've had a few clients where Amazon has decided that they've done the whole, nope, we don't want to talk to you. We don't want to get you your account back. We're going to be really awkward as much as possible.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say, after a couple of months, it has been a few months, we've actually got people's accounts back.
Have you? That's incredible.
Yes. Yeah. You would think that people would give up after a couple of plan of actions to Amazon and what have you, but please don't, because every time you send a plan of action into Amazon, you're sending it to a new person. They are reading it, they are looking at it, and you just might get that person that goes, actually, yeah, this is a good plan of action. I really like that. I don't need any more information. There you go. There's your account back.
When we're talking about a plan of action, are there any sort of specific points that you would expect someone to hit regularly, or is every plan different on a case-by-case basis?
It is different on a case-by-case basis, but there are certain rules you can follow. So, for instance, if you wanted to do your own one, be polite, make sure that you're concise, don't waffle, don't give them your life story. Make sure when you're talking about a certain ASIN that you put the ASIN in, the ASIN number in. Don't just put this is the ASIN, put the ASIN number in. If you're talking about invoices, make sure that they're clear, concise, up the right way. Add them in again, as I said earlier, put the four corners of the document in.
Yeah.
When you talk about the supplier, you include their name, their email address of customer support, their telephone number. Give Amazon as much information with regard to those sorts of things as you possibly can. Don't make them or don't expect them to go looking for anything, because they're really not going to look for anything. For instance, if a particular ASIN is on a supplier's website, put that link in as well.
Yeah.
Don't blame anyone else. So I'll give you an example here. So say, for instance, you said that you were going to send out a box to a customer, and the parcel force or whoever it was that you sent it through didn't pick it up from you in time. And you then said to Amazon, when you do your plan of action, if you say to Amazon, oh, it's the post office's fault, they will not accept that. And the reason they won't accept that is because that is down to you to organise. So what you have to do is, in that instance, you would put in the plan of action. I understand that this didn't, the customer didn't receive this in time. Don't put in there, that it was the post office's fault. Amazon will expect you to take responsibility for this. So what it will expect you to put is something along the lines of, I should have taken this to the post office. Unfortunately, the courier didn't pick it up in time. What I will do going forward is go to the post office by 3 p.m. the day before to ensure that the customer receives the parcel going forward, and I will take a receipt number. And that's the sort of thing that Amazon are asking for. They're asking you to explain what the issue was, you've done to rectify it, and what you're going to do going forward to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
TK Maxx is the one that comes up, doesn't it? All the time, TK Maxx receipts and TK Maxx did this. And that's the exact advice. Take a picture of the thing in TK Maxx with the receipt from TK Maxx and you should be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There are, Amazon will say that they only accept invoices, and probably 90% of the time they do. But if you can prove there are no issues with regard to this receipt, this product, this warehouse that you bought it from, you should be absolutely fine. They will accept them in certain circumstances.
Great stuff. Right then. So talk us through a customer journey. And if somebody, let's say I get suspended, what would it look like when I first contact you?
So first of all, you'd cry.
You know me very well.
No, I'm kidding. But first of all, when someone receives that suspension email, you panic, don't you? When you receive that email, you absolutely panic because all your stock is tied up in this thing and you are absolutely suspended. So what we suggest is read the email from Amazon, go and make a cup of tea, and then come back and read it. So reread the email, find out what it is that they're actually after, and also the timeline. Now, the timeline is uber important. And quite a lot of people don't realise this, is because some suspensions are 24 hours. Some IP suspensions will be 24 hours. And that's how long you've got to collate all the information, all the invoices, all the information from, the websites, and write your plan of action and get it back to Amazon. So if you're not reading your emails regularly, you could come a cropper. So,
and is that communicated in the email? Do they tell you what your deadline is?
Yes, absolutely. They will always tell you what your deadline is. But there are some which are 24 hours, and then there's some which are 5 days, 7 days, 21 days. So yeah, it's always a good idea to check your emails every day. And as I've said earlier, read your emails, even if you're, you think it's not worth it. Sometimes they come in and you think, oh, actually, I need to read that. The process, how we go. So you get the email, you then contact us. which is the best way of doing things, to be honest with you, because if we take over right from the beginning, we have a greater success story of getting your account back faster than if it's 4 years down the line and multiple plan of actions have been sent out.
Yeah.
But you contact us as soon as you get the email. We ask you to send over a copy of the email that Amazon have sent you and a screenshot of your Seller Central dashboard. Now, the reason we do this is so that we can see exactly what Amazon want and we can see exactly what's going on with your account health and what it is showing up on your account health as a red or orange triangle, depending on the colour of your screen. And that gives us an indication of what it is they exactly want from us. Now, we may need to ask you to click on a couple of areas and send us screenshots of those, but that's just information gathering for us, just to make sure that we give you the right information. And once we've done that, we will then come back to you and say, right, this is what you need to do. You need to tick this box, tick that box, and then everything will be okay. Don't worry. You know, you've done this in time, so you're not going to be suspended because the timeline's gone over. Or it may be that, right, we need to do you a strong plan of action. This is how you write it.
I see. Right. And is there an average turnaround from closure to reopening, or again, how long's a piece of string, I guess?
Yeah, it is. I'm afraid it's a piece of string. It really depends on Amazon, and Amazon is a very wild beast, as we all know. Yeah, we've had situation where someone got suspended, and when you send a plan of action, this is something that your team should know. But when you send a plan of action, the very first one you send, Amazon rarely accept. So don't be disheartened when they come back and say, no, we need more information. You can almost forget the first one because they won't accept it. But we've had situations where people have come to us straight away and said, I've been suspended. This is the information. Can you do us a plan of action? Yes, there you go. There's the first one. Well, that's been rejected. Here's the second one. Thank you. We've got our account back.
Yeah, that's it. Have you had to give any sort of awkward messages back to clients who have just made horrendous mistakes and are belligerent to any resolution?
No. Yeah, I mean, we do it in the nicest possible way because at the end of the day, you know, people are very frustrated. They're very angry. They're very upset. They're losing money daily and they are trying to get their accounts back as fast as possible. Blaming Amazon, being unhelpful in the plan of action. If your correspondence is belligerent and it's not helpful to Amazon, Amazon will keep your account suspended potentially just because they don't like the tone of the way you're corresponding with them.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because ultimately we are all slaves to Amazon. They are the people that host us. So I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you find, because I've no doubt you've got clients all over the world, are you finding that it's the same process no matter what the market?
Yes.
Wow.
Pretty much. I mean, there's odd tweaks, but basically Amazon, you know, they like to suspend people for the same sorts of things.
So with that then, with the policy changes Amazon do and the various changes you've probably seen in the last few years, how can you see the landscape changing for Amazon sellers in terms of their health?
The way the new Amazon health platform is, you know, when you very first start selling, you get the 200 and then it goes up or down dependent on what happens in your actual account.
Yeah.
I think it will give people two things. First of all, it's going to give them anxiety because they're going to be watching that 200 and seeing where it's going and what's happening and what have you. We had a situation recently where someone came to us and said, look, I'm at risk of deactivation. I don't understand this. I've had only one negative feedback. What do I do? So we asked them for a screenshot of what's happening. And we basically advised them, because this was part of the reasoning behind it, was someone had sent feedback, negative feedback, which could be got rid of because they were being abusive. Okay. So they got rid of the you know, they went to Amazon. You can click on a thing which says remove the feedback. And Amazon accepted that because they said, okay, yeah, no, it's within our policy to make sure that we get rid of this type of feedback. Don't worry about it. And their account health changed within 10 minutes and they were back to, you know, they got rid of the at-risk message. It does cause anxiety because people watch it constantly. And you should watch it. You should know what's going on in your Seller Central account and what's happening with your feedback, et cetera, et cetera. But also, I think that also it will be really good for people because it will also allow them to see how well they're doing. You know, I see so many messages on like Facebook and what have you saying, oh, I've made these many sales this week and I've done this week and I've done that. And it gives me a real sense of pleasure to see those types of messages, because it means that people are doing well in their business and they're not being suspended and they're not having issues with Amazon. And at the end of the day, yes, all right, this is my business. We do help people with suspensions, and yes, we do need to make money and all the rest of it. But by the same token, I really don't like to see a suspended person.
So now that that's come in, what is the weight of the IPI? Is that's still a very relevant factor, isn't it?
It is, yes. I think everything that Amazon does is the whole process is amazing. When you actually look at what they're doing daily and how much effort they put into all their software and how it all works. I think you should look at the whole thing in its entirety. So not just that, but the IPI and your feedback and, your
review.
Absolutely everything. It's a massive program. And at the end of the day, one little thing can knock you off a balance. So yeah, keeping everything in check is absolute paramount.
Right then. So before we finish up here, Anne, what sort of general tips do you think are worthwhile sharing for the masses?
General tips. Okay. So general tips are read your email from Amazon every day. If you get an email from Amazon, just read it, even if you think it's not going to be anything you need to know about, because you never know in the future, you might need to know about it. Always look at your Seller Central daily, 2 or 3 times, because you can be suspended really, really quickly for something that has come up only like an hour ago. So keep looking at your Seller Central. If you've got any orange triangles or red triangles, whatever color they come up on your screen, deal with them immediately. Deal with your feedback immediately. If you get negative feedback, deal with that immediately, because that will always help your account health to go up rather than down. The last thing you want is for it to go down with just some negative feedback. Always take photographs so you can see the 4 corners. That's a big one. That really is. And basically be polite. When you contact Amazon, no matter what the issue is, be polite and courteous. One big thing I would also say is don't give them too much information. And I know that sounds really weird, but when you're writing to Amazon, don't say something along the lines of, oh, yes, well, my cousin did this, that, and the other, and I have decided that I'm now going to be selling this, this, and this because it looks like a nice, pretty colour or something like that. Really bad example. Because what happens is Amazon read that and they go, they've never said that they were going to do that before, and we don't like that colour, so we don't want anyone selling that colour. Could that be a violation? Yes, it could be. Okay, we'll keep your account suspended until we sort this issue out. So don't give Amazon anything. Don't deal with anything other than the issue that you're dealing with. Don't give them information that they're not going to need, because that could keep your account suspended and then you've got another suspension to deal with.
Great. They're all really useful. Thank you. So I suppose finally, tell us how people can get in touch with you and find you.
So as you know, the company is called Get Unsuspended. So we have a YouTube channel, which you can look at our videos and comment there, and that will come through to me. We have our Facebook page, Get Unsuspended. Please join that. That would be fantastic. And ask your questions there. And then either one of my team or myself will come along and we'll give you some advice. And then, of course, there is our email address, which is help@getunsuspended.com. All my team have got access to that email, and we help loads of people with lots of free advice throughout everything. So please do come along, ask us any question you like. We'll give you some help as much as we possibly can.
That sounds ideal. For anyone listening, I'm going to put links directly in the show notes as well. So if you were listening to this thinking, that sounds good, get to the notes and the links will all be there. And I'm out of questions. Thank you so much for your time. It was really lovely meeting you.
It's been absolutely great. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate coming on the podcast.
And there we go. That was the interview. Wasn't that great, to have a look at something from a different perspective and think of someone that isn't necessarily an Amazon seller, but has got so much to offer in terms of advice on how you can best run your business. It's fascinating to me. And these little things about thinking of Amazon the same way that you would think of a court case, of a legal battle, of a bunch of solicitors. Because essentially that's what it comes down to. These are policies and these are rules and regulations and guidelines that are behind every Amazon decision to suspend you. So when you want to fight your case, you need to present it in an argumentative form that's respectful but gets your point across. And who better to share that information than someone who worked for a solicitor who now specialises in this very thing. And the thing that blew my mind was the really simple stuff. The four corners thing. Of course that proves that it's a real piece of paper. Anyone can doctor an email. Anyone can doctor a PDF, despite the fact that that's exactly what PDFs were designed to do. But printing a piece of paper out and taking a picture and having the four corners, that really does solidify things, doesn't it, really? So I think it is really useful to step out of the Amazon bubble sometimes and put yourself in the shoes of Amazon. They don't know who we are as third-party sellers. They don't know our history. They don't know our propensity to maybe bend the rules sometime. And everybody's going to be different to anyone else. So what they do is they put these thresholds in place and they put these regulations in place, and it needs to be crude because there are millions of us using this platform. So put yourself in Amazon's shoes and see how you would feel if you were responsible for everything that Amazon's responsible for. So with that in mind, let's get into the tip of the week. Tip of the week. Diversify and safeguard. First up, safeguarding. If there's one gem that Anne's going to drop today, it's the necessity of keeping your Amazon account in tip-top shape. Because here's the kicker. Don't wait for trouble to knock on your door. Get up early and figure this out. Regularly check your account. Give yourself an audit. Adhere to the policies and keep an eye always for updates. Now, the other one, diversification. We've been riding this Amazon wave, but there is a whole ocean of e-commerce out there waiting for us. To start small if you must. Start building up a following, because if you do want to explore Etsy, maybe reach out into affiliate marketing. Just don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I mean, it's an old phrase, but it's relevant. So there it is, your double whammy, 2 for 1. Tip of the week. And there we go. This is this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. A bit different to normal, but I found it really, really useful, especially as Amazon sellers, knowing what sort of things to keep an eye on. We'll do next week. We're going to be speaking to FBA Frankie, previously known as the FBA Führer. He's a young lad. He's in his 20s and he is smashing the wholesale model out of the park from a very early age and started it while he was in college. Gotta love that, right? Anyway, that will do. Let's play the music. Let's get the voiceover in. Let's do the usuals. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a subscribe. Come join the Facebook group. Come see me on TikTok. Come see me on Instagram. I need more followers on Instagram. Do a little review on whatever platform you're listening to. Let's get these algorithms kicked in, shall we? That will do. I've told you to do enough nice things for me. Take care. I'll see you next week.
Be sure to join us next time for another dose of inspiration and insights into e-commerce and entrepreneurship. And who knows, by then Des may well have finished that love project. And always remember, it's time to say goodbye Paul, hello Rich. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice. We know times are tough right now. And if you are struggling financially, please seek help from an appropriate organisation. We've included a link to the Citizens Advice Bureau in the show notes. Remember, you should always consult with a qualified professional before making any significant financial decisions.